We live in a society that worships approval. Social media turned validation into a currency, and too many of you are bankrupting your identity just to get a few digital nods of approval. Niccolo Machiavelli, the man who wrote the Manual for Power, warned us 500 years ago, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But let's be clear, he wasn't telling you to be a tyrant. He was telling you to stop begging for crumbs of affection from people who would watch you starve. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. The more you try to please everyone, the less anyone takes you seriously. This video isn't about surface-level etiquette or people-pleasing tips. This is about psychological warfare, social dynamics, power, respect, and survival. If you violate the principles I'm about to share, you don't just lose influence. You become invisible, disposable, weak. Machiavelli wasn't writing for the common man. He was writing for the ones who wanted to rise above the noise. And if that's you, if you're tired of being overlooked, disrespected, or underestimated, then every second of this video is a weapon. 5 things you must never do around people if you want to keep your edge sharp and your soul untouchable. Let's begin. But before we dive into the first hard truth, ask yourself this: are people loyal to your strength, or just using your weakness? Answer in the comments. Self-awareness is the first step to reclaiming your power. And if this message is already striking a nerve, hit that like button. Subscribe. This channel isn't for comfort. It's for those ready to dominate their reality. Next up, we dissect the first cardinal sin Machiavelli would never forgive. The one behavior that silently erodes your power around others. You don't want to miss it. The first thing you should never do around people: apologize for your existence. Let's be clear. You do not owe the world an apology for being who you are. Yet how many of you walk into a room like you're asking permission to exist? Machiavelli understood one thing above all: power is perception. The moment you shrink yourself to make others comfortable, you've already lost. You've told them you're beneath them. You've broadcasted weakness. A prince is also esteemed when he is a true friend and a true enemy, Machiavelli wrote. Translation: stand firm, take a side, be unapologetic. You think being humble makes people like you. It doesn't. It makes them forget you. There's a false modesty that's infected modern minds. It's that soft, trembling tone when you speak, that nervous laughter after you express an opinion, that constant over-explaining after you make a decision. "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I just think, maybe." Kind of. If that's okay with you, stop. Your words lose their weight when they're cushioned with cowardice. You teach people how to treat you, and every unnecessary apology is a silent lesson in submission. Think of Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and stoic king. He said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. The world doesn't need your disclaimers, it needs your conviction." So here's the principle: never apologize for your presence. Don't over-justify. Don't seek approval. Don't dim your fire so someone else can feel warm. People follow those who move with purpose, not permission. And if that truth hits you, if you've caught yourself playing small just to fit in, then hit that like button right now. Subscribe, because the next law is even colder and more dangerous if you get it wrong. Coming up, the second thing you must never do around people. The silent mistake that destroys your reputation without a word being spoken. The second thing you should never do around people: reveal your every thought. Here's a brutal reality. Most people aren't listening to understand you. They're listening to use what you say against you. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, Few experience what you really are. And that's not just poetis, it's a warning. People are always watching, calculating, judging, and the more you talk, the more weapons you hand them. Every insecurity you confess, every fear you reveal, every inner doubt you ramble about becomes leverage, and in the wrong hands, that vulnerability becomes a leash. Now don't get it twisted. This isn't about bottling up emotion. This is about strategy. There is a time for honesty, a time for confession, but it is earned, not given. Never offer people the blueprint to your psyche on a silver platter. You think oversharing makes you relatable. It doesn't. It makes you predictable, weak, exploitable. Voltaire said it best. The secret of being boring is to say everything. Learn to be mysterious, controlled, selective with your words. Say less, and watch how people lean in. Watch how they guess, wonder, obsess. That's power. Because what people can't figure out, they can't control. So here's the principle. Never reveal the full map of your mind. Keep a piece of yourself hidden, not out of fear, but out of discipline. Your silence should not be emptiness. It should be calculation, restraint, intent. Ask yourself, are you talking to express or talking to expose? And every time you choose the latter, understand you're surrendering your advantage. And if that makes you reconsider the way you've been communicating, then like this video, because we're just warming up. The next mistake? It's one of the deadliest and most common among people who think they're being nice. It's the reason the powerful keep rising, while the kind keep getting crushed. Want to hear it? Stay with me. The third thing you should never do around people. Try to be too nice. Let's kill the illusion. Niceness is not a virtue if it's rooted in fear. Being agreeable, smiling all the time, saying yes to things you hate, tolerating disrespect to keep the peace. None of this makes you noble. It makes you easy to control. Machiavelli warned us, the promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. Translation? People will lie to your face if it benefits them. And if you think your kindness will shield you from manipulation, you're already marked as prey. Here's the dark truth. The world does not respect good intentions. It respects boundaries. Kindness without a backbone is weakness, and weakness invites wolves. How many times have you bitten your tongue to avoid conflict? How often have you given someone another chance when they already showed you who they were? That's not virtue. That's cowardice dressed up as compassion. There's a reason Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." That means you don't have to retaliate, but you do have to protect your space. You do have to say no. You do have to walk away from people who treat you like an option. Here's the principle. Never trade your dignity for peace. Real kindness is controlled strength. It's when you choose to be gentle, not because you're afraid to be firm, but because you've already proven your fire. Be kind, but never be spineless. The next mistake? It's the hidden trap that destroys your ability to lead, influence, or command respect. Most people fall into it without ever realizing they've lost the room. Stay locked in. Part 5 will change how you carry yourself forever. The fourth thing you should never do around people: seek validation. If you need applause to feel powerful, you're already a slave. You think posting your every move, waiting for likes, fishing for compliments, and asking, "What do you think of me?" makes you more confident? It doesn't. It makes you dependent. Machiavelli taught rulers to be feared and respected, not loved by the masses, because love is fickle. One mistake, and they turn on you, but fear Fear anchors your position. Now don't misinterpret. This isn't about making people scared of you. It's about earning respect without begging for it. You lose power the second you start seeking permission to feel worthy. He who seeks approval from all gets ruled by all. Here's the paradox. The more you need to be validated, the less valuable you become. Why? Because people sense desperation, and desperation is repulsive. It's a stench that lingers in your words, your actions, your energy. It screams, "Please accept me," and nothing screams weakness louder than that. Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." You need a why so strong that external opinions can't shake it. Internal validation is bulletproof. External validation is duct tape over a bullet wound. Here's the principle. Never outsource your self-worth. Move in silence. Let your actions speak. Let your presence announce itself. Stop explaining your ambition. Stop seeking praise. Let your results do the talking. Because when you're truly powerful, you don't need to declare others will whisper it behind your back. And if this truth made you uncomfortable, that's a sign it was meant for you. Like this video, subscribe, because this next one is the most dangerous mistake of them all. The fifth and final thing you should never do around people is something Machiavelli would see as political suicide, and most people commit this sin daily, thinking they're being real. Trust me, you'll want to hear this. The fifth thing you should never do around people: show all your emotions publicly. Let's make one thing clear. Your emotions are not public property. The modern world tells you to be authentic. Be real. Speak your truth. Sounds noble, right? But here's the Machiavellian truth. Authenticity without restraint is ammunition for your enemies. Machiavelli wrote, "A wise man does at once what a fool does at last." And the wise man understands that emotional outbursts are luxuries he can't afford in public. Because every time you let someone see you angry, broken, jealous, or insecure, you hand them a map to your destruction. You think showing people how much they hurt you gives you power. No A gives them power. You think venting to your coworkers about how overwhelmed you are makes you relatable. No makes you replaceable. You think crying in front of your boss shows trust. No, it shows instability. Here's the difference. Control. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius weren't emotionless, they were disciplined. They felt deeply, but they mastered how and when to express it. There is a time and place for vulnerability, but the battlefield of social life is not that place. Not unless you know you're in the presence of someone who has earned your trust, and even then, choose wisely. Here's the final principle. Never bleed in front of wolves. You are allowed to feel, but you are not allowed to fall apart in front of people who will weaponize your wounds. Dignity isn't about being emotionless. It's about not being manipulated by your emotions in the public arena. So ask yourself, who are you emotionally naked in front of? And are they protectors or predators? If that just made you rethink your inner circle, then smash that like button. Subscribe, because this is how we build power from the inside out. And here's what I want to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 5 truths hit you the hardest, and why? I want to know who's really self-aware in this crowd. But don't go yet, because we're closing this video with fire. One final message. One final challenge. And trust me, it's the part most people aren't ready to hear. The final challenge. You've made it this far. That tells me one thing: you're not like most people. Most people avoid discomfort. They run from truth. They want easy answers, soft advice, and sugar-coated slogans to make their failures feel justified. But you listened. You absorbed. You faced the blade. That means there's something inside you, Something ancient, something raw, something powerful, a fire that hasn't been extinguished by mediocrity. So here's your final truth. The world doesn't care about your potential. It only rewards what you execute. All 5 of these rules, they mean nothing if you don't apply them. It's easy to nod, easy to comment facts, easy to say, "Damn, this hit." But what are you going to do about it? Are you going to keep apologizing for who you are? Are you going to keep exposing your mind to people who don't deserve a glimpse? Are you going to keep being nice just to avoid being disliked? Are you going to keep begging for validation like a child starving for attention? Are you going to keep wearing your heart on your sleeve, bleeding out for people who'd rather see you fall than heal? Or are you going to rise? You want respect? Stop talking. Start showing. You want power? Start mastering yourself. You want to walk into a room and command presence without saying a word? Then live these principles until they become you. Remember what Machiavelli stood for: calculated strength, ruthless intelligence, unshakable presence. He didn't write for peasants, he wrote for kings. So the question is simple. Are you ready to rule, or are you content to kneel? If you're ready to claim your place among the disciplined, the dangerous, and the respected, then like this video right now. Subscribe if you haven't. This is not entertainment. This is training. And every week, I drop a new weapon for your mind. Because the war isn't out there, it's within. And the ones who master that battlefield, they don't follow, they lead. Act with precision. And never forget, power is not given, it is taken.